all your life path is connected to something and the universe telling something. It's completely out of my hand. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Takashi, Japanese actor, filmmaker, and explorer living in Las Vegas. How you guys doing? Last week, one of my favorite manga comic book, it's called Space Brothers. It started on 2007, finally reached to the last episode. And then I was reading, so emotional. So the Space Brothers is a story about the two brothers, the Japanese, they're from the childhood kids, and one day they saw a UFO in the sky, and then they decided to become an astronaut. And then the years later, so younger brother, he became a NASA astronaut, he went to the moon first, and then the other brothers, he's actually give up to become an astronaut, he became a salaryman. So that's the beginning of the story. And then for somehow the main character, his name is Mutta, main protagonist. So he became an astronaut. They both brother goes to the space and they come back. That's the story. But it took 18 years of the comic book. They also have you can watch in a Crunchyroll in like over like 100 episodes. But this is really one of my favorite comic book. And then what this story really resonated me because it's the older story about not about success. It's about the dreams come true and then how you want to challenge to your next step. That's really resonated me. And also, I also wanted to become an astronaut when I was a kid. Like the other kids, right? You want to go to the space, right? SpaceX, same thing. And I'm at the age 41, and today I want to talk about how my relationship with space. So it's all started from actually 8 years old in Japan. So I was sleeping at the midnight, and one night my mom bring me over back to the living room, and then she turned on the TV at the midnight, and then, hey, Takashi, watch it. What is it? And then I saw on the TV, and then the rocket launched, and I went to the space. It's a space shuttle, NASA, and the first Japanese professional science payload specialist, Mamoru Mohri, astronaut, the Japanese, he was in the space shuttle. I believe that was 1992. And then that goes to space. I watched on live on the TV, and then wow, this actually completely blew my mind as 8 years old kid. And since then, I always go to the library, study about science. Anything related to science, I will study. Anything related to the space development, I study. Anything related to, always go to the library and read all the books at my hometown. And then once I finished all the library, I try to go find other books. So I'm like a very nerdy kid back in then. And then a year later, 9 years old, I remember, one day I got flu and then I couldn't go to the school. So I would just keep sleeping sick and then just sleeping on the bed. And then my mom brought me the book, another comic book. It's about Doraemon. You know the Doraemon? It's like the blue cat robot, a very popular anime, the comic book character, with collaboration with the Mamoru Mohri astronaut. So it's more like a science educational comic book. It's a comic book, but more like a science educational for the kids. Man, since then, I read the comic book hundreds of thousands of times. And then that's totally, I wanted to become an astronaut back in then as a 9 or 10 years old kid. And sometimes I just nighttime, I try to go look at the star, even when I was high school, keep a look at the stars, you know, because I live in the countryside. You can see the beautiful stars from my hometown. I saw like meteor showers in the sky, you know, I stay up late and I check my, the newspaper, that type of thing. I was doing it. But one day, of course, the same as the other kid, you face the reality. What happened is when I faced reality was I failed the exam to enter the college university in Japan. That's one of the biggest and toughest exam in Japan. So in Japan, what this failed exam means after graduate high school, because I've been seeing all the other Japanese professional government, under the government, it's called JAXA now, they used to be a NASA, they all under the government, so like same as NASA, they all graduated one of the top university. It has to be national university. It's not like a private university. You have to graduate the national university. That's I've been seeing only, or can be a doctor, or you're the top of the army or air force or pilot, that type of the level. So which means that I fail the exam, which means I cannot get into that level. And actually I tried the second year. So I just actually have a break for more focus on the study, and in the second year, fail again. So I couldn't go to university what I wanted to go in my local area. So I went to the little bit more, let's say, still really nice university. I really respect, I really love the college, but like in terms of the ranking, is a lower rank. You know, same with the US, the lower rank university I went. And I was so depressed. And I thought like my life is over and I cannot become an astronaut again. But I still choose something related to science and a completely different background. So I went to the university is agriculture. So my background is actually agriculture and biology. So that's my background when I was college. And I'm super reluctant to study over there. But one day, when I was in Tokyo, I went to the Science Museum, which is directed by Mamoru Mohri astronaut. And then luckily, I could meet him in person in the museum. And then he gave me a lot of good advice. You know, first thing, he saw my face, I talk about in a 19-year-old kid. I was so depressed. I didn't know what I'm gonna do. I didn't know what my future is gonna be because I cannot be an astronaut anymore because I failed the exam, right? And I thought I went to like a crappy university, which is not. And then the first thing Mamoru Mohri told me, you have to quit the university now. Don't waste your lifetime because I know your college, university, still so many great scientists over there. They do amazing research. And that was true because actually one professor, he got a Nobel Prize on like a technology or engineering side of the blue color LED. I forgot his name, but so it's happening. But I didn't know. I thought if you want to become an astronaut, you have to be some certain level. If you didn't go to that level, you're done. That's how the Japanese education told, but his perspective is different. So why he told me you have to quit the university, because he said, don't waste your lifetime, because your lifetime as a 19-year-old kid is very precious. You have to do what you believe you have to do. And that's true. And I was shocked. And then I actually brought a comic book from my childhood. Do you remember? The Doraemon with the manga comic character. 10 years ago, so 9 years old kid, my mom bought me a comic book. I brought it. And then I asked him to autograph, right? And I'd be a really big fan of you. And then please give me some signs, please. And then he gave me some sign. He gave me some comments. And it says, reach for your stars. And he said, please think deeply again, what this meaning for you. Wow. And that's actually the complete blow up my mind. Wait a minute, what this meaning, right? And then I was at the end, because he's very, very busy. He's a super popular, and he's a super busy person. And then when the elevator, door closed, before close, I was standing outside, right? And he said, just point in my face, you've got it, Takashi, you've got this. Oh my God, right after the closed elevator, I was just crying and fall to the ground. And all the other staff was watching me. And I was like, oh, I couldn't breathe. Because he scolded me, I have to quit, like my dad. And the second thing is, he gave me advice about something, about reach for your stars. And the third thing is he believed in he was believing my future. And he said, "You've got this." And I cried. I cried and fell to the ground. That's exactly what happened. And later, after back home, I was keep thinking what he's trying to teach me on the day. And then after back home, I realized that what he wrote a letter on the comic book, the autograph, reach for your stars. It's not reach for your star, it's stars. So which means multiple way. And I realized, I interpreted in my head, can be maybe astronaut is not the one thing I wanted to do in my life. And then after, I was actually into acting later, because I also wanted really into the acting, filmmaking, and theater, performing arts. I was more doing the performing arts and theater when I was in Japan. I did most movie filming stuff after I moved to overseas, which is Australia. But then I was start doing multiple things, and somehow I completed the college, and I got the science degree, and also I got a certificate of teaching science teacher in high school and also prep school and medical school in Japan. And then I moved to Tokyo. So that's the second stage of my life. So since then, I'm almost forgot about the passion to the science. I still have passion to the science, but since I moved to Tokyo after graduate uni, then I told my parents, I really want to study acting now. And so I always follow, okay, reach for your stars. I'm studying acting, and then also study behind acting. I also have to work. So I was teaching at the high school kids, prep school, medical school. I was teaching biology, science, mathematics. I was teaching. But age 30, I was thinking I always wanted to go overseas. So then I decided to go to Australia. And after I moved to Australia, long story short, I will start doing more filming stuff, acting, TV commercial, some like small role in TV show. And then I met my wife. And then we started working together, making film. And then after finished Echo 8, we got married, me and my wife, Maria, and then we got visa approved. So we got a green card in the US. Now we decided to go to America. And then since I went to America, I have to find a job. I live in Las Vegas. I started working in a casino as a table game dealer. And I finished the Echo 8 trilogy, and now age 41 today. That's happening. After I finished the 2 movies last year, and then last year I aged turning to 39 to 40 years old, and then 17th of December. Wow, I'm already 40 years old. Well, actually turned to 41 years old. And then I realized, wow, my grandfather passed away. He was age 84, which means I'm turning to age 42 this year. If I would die in age 84, I don't want it, but just for example, if my life is 84 years, half of my life is gone. 50% of my life is done, and only 50% left in my life. Then I will sit down one day at the balcony drinking coffee and relax and think deeply, feeling it. Why I'm in the US and what I do really wanted to do in my life. Of course, acting, filmmaking, this is still my 100% of my passion and creativity. When I do the filmmaking, you saw my movie, our movie, I put 100% commit. 100%, even I'm not the best director I know, even I'm not the best actor I know, but I try my best because I have a passion to telling a story, right? But for some reason, I was also thinking in my head, I could do something outside of the film industry, or not for Hollywood, not in the system, but even we making our own movie, but something else I really, really wanted to do in my life. And then I realized, why I always wanted to come to America? Of course, I grew up watching Hollywood movies or TV shows. Oh yeah, America, it's all from America. But of course, not only that. because all the science stuff, NASA, Space Shuttle, Mamoru Mohri, astronaut, all these things come from US. And I always watch on the TV or like either documentary films, right? And one day, I actually bring some mind in my head. And nowadays, we can have a ChatGPT. So I bring my iPad and I ask ChatGPT, hey Chatty, are there any chance, even I'm age 40, still can I apply to anything like a citizen astronaut program boot camp in the US or not? And then Chatty gave me the answer. It's actually something, they have some. And then one day, I actually bought a textbook already. It's called POSSUM. It's called Polar Suborbital Science in the Upper Mesosphere. There's a scientist astronaut manual. What is this? So basically this one is you not gonna be the fully NASA or JAXA under the government professional. Well, they're still professional, but no, like a government qualified under the system astronaut. They go to over the space, they could go to over the moon, right? But this one doesn't. It's called suborbital, means like an upper mesosphere. It's like a half astronaut. And then it's okay, I'm happy with it. And then think about it, the Blue Origin or like a Virgin Galactic. This is a Virgin Galactic. They always go to the suborbital flight, the 15 minutes zero gravity. Cool, I like it. Still, if I can get this one on a mission, I can still be an astronaut. I mean, qualified astronaut. Even like half of the space, it doesn't matter. It's still space, right? And then I realized I want to do something to challenge and before I die, you know. And at age 40, I thought this is my last chance. I can do something. So what is POSSUM? POSSUM is it's like suborbital flight and it's like a boot camp for the citizen astronaut, which means it's more this astronaut or space thing is accessible to anyone. It's not for the privileged people or someone be selected or elite. So even same thing, NASA, elite, Japan, astronaut, elite. Only some special people who have some maybe more smarter or some more like a better background or like educational background. Someone has, you know, elite, only the elite can go to the space, but it's not. So it's the same concept of how we make a film because we are not in the Hollywood system. Well, we are completely outside of system, right? But we still can make a system. We are outside of the system, but we still can make a film. How we can make it? Because we are more, our goal is different. We still have a good story to tell, and we're still learning, but what's the main aim is filmmaking should be accessible to anyone. The same concept. What I like of this POSSUM, this program, is the space development is also accessible to anyone. That's the same concept. I like it. So that's really resonate me. And the requirement is a couple of requirements. You need first English, of course, because it's a classic level of English. And then I'm from Japan. I live in overseas 10 years. I'm good enough for the English. Okay, one thing's done. Second, science background, STEAM graduation, STEAM background. I have a science degree in Japan at the university. I have a paper, you know, and the thesis, it's in international. My thesis about the rice enzyme or something. So that works. And then the third thing is a scuba diving license and experience. So I'm taking this course right now. And then also like flight medical. This is also easy. I take it. I haven't applied this one yet, but I just want to quickly make this video for about Dream because I read about the comic books about Space Brothers. So this is my relation with the space. And then why I'm doing this now, all these my life things from my childhood, I liked science. And then I grew up, even I failed an exam to the college, but I still completed the science degree at the university. I didn't give up. I could give up, I didn't give up. And later I went to the overseas and I keep practicing the communicate and work in English. and overseas. And now I got a green card and I moved to the US. All your life path is connected to something and the universe telling something. It's completely out of my hand. So in a final episode of Space Brothers, it's very, very touching. 18 years of the setup and payoff. The episode 1, I told you, the kids brothers look up the sky at nighttime. They saw the big red UFO, and then that's the turning point. They wanted to become an astronaut. And in the final episode, they coming back from the space, and then the spaceship, it's Soyuz, it's a Russian space thing, and then going down. When they're coming back to the from the air, to space to the air, and then they start like burning outside. And then from the G, gravity and oxygen, a lot of feeling something happened. And then these two brothers in the spaceship, they're kind of like a half, they don't lost the consciousness, kind of very dizzy a little bit. And then they suddenly, all of a sudden, they see some transparent in the spaceship. And then their view a little bit changed. And then both brothers look at each other and then look at the front. They're sitting down because they're falling. They fall into the ocean, right? They actually see it over the spaceship. They saw the childhood of themselves. It's a spoilers. But what this means? It's actually time travel. So the 2 times, childhood and then adulthood, is all connected in one episode at the last moment. So that's set up and payoff they made in 18 years after. I'm so touched, super emotional. I super cried when I read this. And what this story meant to me is why I'm doing this possum, or why I want to challenge something like new things now. Not because just I want to be an astronaut. Yes, I want to be an astronaut, not only that. And because of the fame? No, definitely not. Because for someone to cheer up? I don't know. Or maybe this is for myself? No. It's actually, this is a promise to my 8 years old kid of myself. So I will meet myself, 8 years of myself, and then I can promise him I may go to the space. I may not go to the space, but it doesn't matter. But I can stand in front of him, if I could see him, 8 years of myself. Yo, Takashi, I'm still doing a challenge to become an astronaut. After how many years later? After 30 years, I'm still challenging. And then I'll say, trust me. All right, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.